This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so this will be a 10-day session, guys. So every day, as soon as we join, so from tomorrow onwards, we will start the session at 7 p.m. IST accurately. Today, I have some other things to take care of, so I couldn't come on time. So obviously, I couldn't start it on time. But tomorrow, let's try to join at 7 o'clock. And if there is any change in the timings, I'll keep you posted in that WhatsApp group. Please be active in the group. Okay. Now coming back to me. Okay. So. Uh, let me share my screen as well, but I don't have anything to show you as of now, but still let me share the screen. But please guys, whoever is joining, please be on mute. Okay, because you're speaking over me, that will be difficult. Okay, so please be on mute guys, everybody by default, I expect that as you are joining you are on mute. Okay, so let me see if I can forcefully mute the people. Let me see something like that. uh Notes. See, guys, please be on mute, guys. Please, please, please. As soon as I know there are new people joining in, please be on mute. Please be on mute. Please be on mute. Come on, guys. Please be on mute. No, let me figure out a button if I can mute all of them, guys. Just give me one moment. Mute everybody. Okay. Okay. So there is no more noise now. Thank you so much. Okay, but again, use the chat window if you have any questions. Okay, so by the way guys, this is Kumar Gupta. Okay, so let me quickly speak about myself. Okay, so I didn't have that slide, about myself. This is Kumar Gupta. Okay, I am the head of institute, head of Isha Training Solutions. Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Hi, sir.
hi, who is this? Sunil,
Yeah.
this session will be recorded, but I don't think I'll be sharing it. Okay. Um, Sorry, somebody is speaking. Please, please go ahead. I haven't started anything, but you have a question. Please, please go ahead. Yeah. Anything? No?
Hi
Okay.
Kumar sir,
Yeah. Who is this?
this is Deepti, and I'm
Oh,
super excited that you're gonna take the class. I was expecting some other trainer.
okay. So have you taken any of my close courses, Deepti? I have
Not
too
yours,
many.
not yours,
Okay.
but I have taken AppD, LoadRunner,
Okay.
Jmeter, and other trainings.
Sure, Dipti. We'll catch up after the class. So there are like 70 other people. So let's use the class
Yeah,
timings.
sorry,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Sure,
yeah,
sure.
optimally. Okay. After the class, we'll definitely catch up. So this is the head of Isha Training Solutions. Started this 4 to 5 years back, and this institute is specifically for performance testing, nothing else. Now the next question obviously comes that these are 10 sessions, 10 to 11 sessions, and you're saying totally free. Why you're doing this? Okay, so the only reason why I do this is because I don't do the trainings anymore. Okay, and I am a natural trainer. I feel like I wanted to share the knowledge. Okay, for every 2 months, 3 months, I have this urge to take the classes, and I usually take the free classes. Probably 3 months back, I have taken manual testing totally free of cost. Before that, I've taken Storm Runner load free of cost. So occasionally we do it. I pick up the courses which will not affect my institute financially. Okay, and then start sharing the classes. Okay, so that's the only reason, brother. That's the only reason, guys. So let me get started, because there will be a lot of people who has this question to me. Like already this question was posted to me privately, like why are you taking 10 sessions free of cost? Is there a trick? Is there a registration fee? Is there something to it? Nothing to it, brother. I'm saying nothing to it, honestly. Okay, just wanted to share the knowledge. That's about it. Okay, so all of you feel free to attend all the 10 sessions, and post the questions. Definitely whatever the knowledge I have, I will definitely try to answer that. If I don't know something, definitely I'll get back to you the next day. So when I have worked on this, I have worked on this probably 7 years back. Okay, and back then we used to call this as performance center. Okay, so from the last 7 years, honestly, I haven't worked on this. So they have it has changed the it 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 went from HP to Micro Focus. The company name is also changed. Before, when I was working, it was HP, I believe. Now it is Micro Focus. And back then we used to call it as Performance Center. This one. Okay, I used to work for a client called Westpac. Okay, if anybody is in Infosys, they know that it's a very popular client. Okay, and anybody from Infosys, guys, again, use the chat window. Okay, you will be my ex colleagues, or I am your what do you say, alumni or something like that. Okay, anybody from Infosys from the class? Anybody? Use the chat window. You can just say yes, or a single yes will do. Okay, looks like nobody from Infosys have joined, surprising. Okay, if anybody is there from Infosys, okay, the Yogi is from Infosys. You take the course called in the ETA, Education Training and Assessment, Yogi. There is a course called Performance Testing Center of no Performance Testing Boot Camp. Okay, so in that boot camp, I have created the whole boot camp. So probably you can have my course over there. So I am the one who has created that. I think it's a 10-day course. It's a very extensive course and very nice course. Anyways, so that's when I have both. It's called Performance Center. Okay. The difference between Performance Center and LRE, we'll discuss that. I'll add that as well to this particular place. Okay. How is it different from PC? Okay. We used to call it as PC, Performance Center. Now the current LRE, how is it from different from Performance Center? Okay. So the reason why I'm saying this is I've worked on this quite some time back. So I'm just trying to, not scale up, but recall all the topics as I'm taking this class. So if there is anything that I cannot answer, definitely I'll go back, do my research and come back. So that's the whole intention. Okay, now let's get started, guys. Okay, but before we get started, who is this course for? I'll clearly lay down the expectations. Okay, who is this course for? Okay, basically anybody can attend the course, but you need to understand this course as well. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm clearly laying out the expectations. Okay, prior knowledge of LR is required so that you can attend this class. Okay, so prior knowledge of LR, okay, may it be a working knowledge or learning. Okay, you have learned somewhere, or okay, you have learned this load runner somewhere, or you've worked on load runner, then you can take this course. So this is the only prerequisite for this course. Okay, so this is the only prereq. Okay, nothing else. Okay, so why you're saying this, Kumar? Okay, why that a person who has done Jmeter cannot attend this course? You can attend this course, but not sure you will be able to understand, because my focus is only on LRE and LRC. Okay, in the class I don't teach what is workload modeling, what is Little's law, what is NFR gathering, how to create a script on Vugen, how to do the correlations, parameterizations, checkpoints, and all that I'm not teaching you. Okay, and how to look at the reports, how to make sense out of the reports, no, I'll not be teaching you. As I've told you, my focus is only on the LRE. Okay, which means that you worked on the controller, you know how to create the scripts on Vugen, you worked on the controller, but you wanted to know how LRE is different from controller. Okay, and how this storm runner load or load runner cloud is different from controller. If this is your agenda for the class, then you came to the right place. But if the agenda is if the agenda is I wanted to know about load runner, I don't know ABCD of load runner. Okay, I need to know from level, the ground level, then you came at the wrong place, brother. How much ever efforts I put, most of the things will go over the top of your head. Okay, so but still you're more than welcome, and please go ahead and attend the classes. But this course will be better understood, and if you have the prior knowledge of load runner, which means that you have the prior knowledge of all these three components, which is Vugen, okay, which is controller, and analyzer or analysis, or however you wanted to call it. Okay, So so that's what it is. Okay. So, are we clear so far, guys? I didn't explain anything, but at least are the prerequisites clear to you, all of you? At least the expectations is clear to you. Okay. Thank you, Shankar. Yes, use the word just Y. Okay, small yes or Y should be good enough in the chat window. So whenever I ask a question, please put that little bit of efforts that will use the chat window and just answer, so that that gives me a lot of motivation that okay, people are listening, people have not just joined, people are understanding. Okay, that kind of thing, I'll get it once you use the chat window and start answering. And one last question, it has nothing to do with LRE. People might think that okay, this guy is wasting my time, I've joined, this is my precious time. I totally understand. Okay, but one small question: how many, there are close to 80 students, again use the chat window, how many of you have at least heard my name, Kumar Gupta, or taken one of my courses, or watched my videos on YouTube, or purchased my courses? Just want it. Again, a simple yes or a simple why will be good enough. Okay, so there seems to be a good number of people who have listened to me on YouTube or who have taken my course. So all of you already know my teaching style. Okay, for the other people, I'll tell you I go really, really slow. Okay, and I'll repeat the same things multiple times. Sometimes people lose the patience. Okay, sometimes people think that, oh, we are IT employees, why this guy is treating me like a little kid? Okay, and why is this guy repeating multiple times? But that's how I do it, brother. So I do it, guys. Okay, so please bear with me. Okay, but after this 10 days, I'm sure you will be good with LRA. Okay, lot of people these days. Okay, Sairam, thank you, Sairam. Okay, lot of people these days are using LRE. Very rarely they use controller. Okay, so it's almost mandatory that you know LoadRunner Enterprise. Okay, so I'll tell you this again. Okay, unless you are working in a small company, you will not be using the controller. So it's almost important that you know LRE, and definitely you're going to interviews. Okay, some interviews they will 100% ask one or two questions on LoadRunner. Okay, so if you're going for the interviews, okay, okay. So even though you haven't worked on you worked on the controller but not used LRE, okay, they will expect that you know LRE and they will ask some questions on the LRE. So definitely for implementing the projects, okay, or clearing the interviews, okay, this course is this course helps you. This course helps you. Okay, so having said that, let's jump into the LoadRunner Enterprise. Before that, okay, let's quickly do little bit of I wouldn't say recap, but little basics. Okay, so little basics so that it will help me to establish LoadRunner Enterprise well. It will help me to distinguish what are the difference. I mean, help me to explain the difference between the load runner and load runner enterprise clearly. But to set that, I'll go back a little bit and talk about performance testing life cycle stages, which most of you already know. Okay, but that will help me to clearly define the difference between the load runner and the load runner enterprise. Okay, so I'm going really fast here because I assume that people already know all this. Okay, so everything has a life cycle, development has a life cycle. And what is this called? The development has a life cycle by itself. And what is that called, guys? What is that called? Again, use the chat window. Okay, if you're developing a software, it has its own life cycle. What is that called? SDLC. Everybody knows. Okay, so and if you're doing a testing, normal software testing, it has its own life cycle. What is that called? STLC, software testing life cycle. Okay, if you're doing the development, you have development life cycle, SDLC. If you're testing, okay, so you have testing life cycle. Okay, okay, so if you're doing the development, you have SDLC, software development lifecycle. If you're doing the testing, STLC, software testing lifecycle. Similarly, when you're doing the performance testing, you have something called performance testing lifecycle, PTLC. Okay, let's quickly go through all the stages of the performance testing life cycle. First is the requirement gathering. Okay, but this is performance testing falls under non-functional testing, so you call it as non-functional requirement gathering, or s- uh, or 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 what is that called, guys? Okay, so in small words, what is that called? Okay, or wonderful NFRs. Okay, it is called NFRs. Okay, so NFRs, please mute yourself, guys, people who are joining. Okay, so please mute yourself, please use the chat window, post any questions. Okay, this is a very very popular word, NFRs, if you're coming into the performance testing world. Okay, usually the test manager is involved. Okay, and or the test lead is involved. Okay, so depending on your company, a manager or a lead is involved in the NFR gathering. It happens at the very first stage, and and then the output of that particular is NFR requirement document. Okay, so you document all the NFRs that you have collected, and you put that into a document called NFR requirement document, or NFRs. Okay, you simply call it as NFRs. Then using this NFRs as an input, you create your test planning. Okay, and who does this? Usually a test lead or a test manager again will create the test plans. Okay, and then the outcome of that is a test plan. Okay, and finally, okay, and in this you do the workload modeling as well. Okay, that is fine. And then using this test plan, okay, a performance test specialist, okay, or if your Infosys is called performance testing analyst, or you're working in some other company, you're called performance test engineers, or some companies would call it as performance test specialist. So they will take this test plan, and they go into this next phase called test designs and development, where they will be start creating the test scripts. And here is where the performance testing tool comes into picture. Here we are using this load runner, or LRE. Okay, so LRE. Okay, so you will start creating the scripts. If you have using the tool called Jmeter, obviously you use the tool to create the scripts, but here it is the load runner. So using this load runner tool or LRE tool, you will start creating the scripts. Okay, you will start creating the scripts. Now please tell me, guys, and which component of load runner, which component of load runner you start creating the scripts? Okay, which component of load runner you will use to create the scripts, guys? Okay, wonderful. Vugen. Okay, so Vugen, again, this class is for somebody who has prior knowledge of load runner, guys. If you feel that I'm going little fast, that could be the reason that you haven't worked on load runner. Okay, so wonderful. So you use the component called virtual user generator, or VUGen is where you have used this to start creating the scripts. Who will do it? Performance test scripts specialist, that is you. Okay. And then once you start creating the scripts, you get into the fourth stage. This is the first stage, second stage, third stage. You go into the fourth stage, which is the test execution stage. Test execution stage. Okay. Which component of load runner you will use here, guys? Which component of load runner you will use here? Okay, which component of load runner you will use here, guys? Controller. Wonderful. Controller. Okay, if you are using the tool called load runner, if you are using the tool called load runner, you will use the component called controller. Okay, you're using the component called controller to execute the test. Okay, what kind of test you will execute? What kind of test you will execute? Okay, what kind of test you will execute, guys? Okay, okay, only load test, only load test. Stress test, wonderful. Only stress test, only stress test and load test. Do you do any other test? Okay. Soak test, endurance test, wonderful. That's it.
Volume
Baseline test,
test.
wonderful. Volume test, data volume test. Okay, wonderful. Soak test. So all those tests that you're talking about, guys, okay, you will be using this tool called controller. Okay, and you will be executing those tests. What test? Load test. Some people in their companies, they also call it as peak load test. I'll tell you the difference. If somebody wants the difference between a load test and peak load test, I'll stay after the class. I'll explain it to you. Okay, and then stress test. Okay, again, I'm using the mouse to write it, guys, so that's why you see this messy handwriting. Okay, so you might run a load test, you might run a stress test, you might run an soak or an endurance test, you might run a data volume test, you might run a spike test. Okay, and different kinds of tests you will run. Okay, I'm not writing all the tests, but you use these scripts. Let's say you have created 10 scripts. All these 10 scripts, Okay, you put it in the controller. All these 10 scripts, you will put it in the controller and you will run this load test. After the load test is passed, then probably you go on to a stress test and then a soak test, and then probably and a spike test, or probably scalability test. Okay, like this you will run the test based on whatever you have agreed upon in your test planning phase or a NFR gathering phase, whatever they ask you to run all those tests. Okay, when I said they, who are they, guys? When I said they, who are they? Okay, client. Wonderful. Okay, so the clients, okay, whenever whatever they have asked, okay, all those tests we will run. Okay, all those tests we will run in this particular phase called test execution phase, using a component called controller, using a component called controller. And what is the output of this test execution phase? What is the output of this test execution phase? Yes, product owner if you're in a agile model, scrum model, but otherwise client in our simple words. Okay, so guys, Neetu and all that, we are deviating a little bit from the class. The focus is on the LRE. So difference between stress and scalability and all that, probably I'll take a separate class for you guys. Okay, because those all come under the realm of performance testing, not on the LRE factor. Okay, but definitely need to all those cover all those things I'll cover. What is the difference between stress test and all those, but not as a part of the class, but maybe as a part of a separate session. Probably we'll take it over the Saturday or Sunday. Put all those questions together, all of you, and email it to me or WhatsApp it to me. I'll send the WhatsApp number, then you can send it. Somebody, Yogi, has asked any NFR sheet test plan draft copy providing this session for reference. Okay, you WhatsApp me or put it in the group, Nitu. I'll not Nitu, Yogi, and I'll send those templates to you. Okay. So I've answered two questions were asked. I've answered both the questions. Somebody wants NFR templates. I'll send it. Put it in the WhatsApp group. Need to put those questions in separately. Message it to me. Whatever the questions you have, and over the weekend I'll take that because that will deviate from the class. Okay. Now, okay, coming back to the class. The client has asked to run all these tests. You have run the test. Now the test execution has happened. What is the outcome, guys? What is the outcome of the test execution? What is the outcome of the test execution? Can somebody please tell me? What is the outcome of the test execution? You get a .lra file. I understand from the technical terms. Yes, what you said is absolutely true. But in simple terms, can you tell me? Results. Wonderful. Okay, Shankar. Okay, results. What you get is the results. Okay, so what you get is the results. Okay, so you have a result for load test. You have a results for stress test. You have a result for soak test. You have result for scalability test. You have a result for some other test. So you have the results for each test. But here I will give you a simple thing. If you are using an LRE, okay, if you use an LRE, you will still have a controller. You will still have a controller, but basically there we will call this as a LRE host. Okay, you will call it as a LRE host. You will call it as a LRE host, but you will not call it as a controller. I'll go to the architecture and clearly explain this, but for now, just assume that okay, it's no longer called as a controller. Okay, it's called a LRE host. Okay, then use these results. Okay, then use these results, do your analysis and come out with the final test report. Okay, you do your analysis and come out with the final test report. You come out with the final test report. Wonderful, guys, wonderful. Okay, so far any questions, guys? Again, the questions, please post the questions related to the class topics that are covered. Please don't bring something else like I want these reports, I want those reports. Okay, those will be little different. Again, I'm saying to keep the class focused and concentrate on only on the LRE. Okay, uh, we will keep the class focused, but again, if you have some other questions not related to the topics discussed, put all those questions somewhere and we will cover it over the weekend, okay, which are not related to the LRA. Okay, so any questions, guys? Any questions? Okay. Yes, yes, Chaitra. So using those results, you can find the bottlenecks, and then you present it to the developer. The developer will fix the bottlenecks, and you rerun the test. You rerun the test. Okay. So Vinod says no questions. Obviously, there isn't much that we have covered. So obviously, there is no questions. Now let's jump into the next topic. Let's jump into the next topic. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, let's jump into the next topic, which is very, very important. Okay. Okay. We'll get back to this little later, guys. Okay. This one here. Okay. Lot of people, if you're coming to this course, first thing you need to understand is, okay. Oh my God. 1 second. Sir, Kumar sir. Okay. I already know LoadRunner. Okay. I already know all the three components of LoadRunner. Vugen. Okay. And second component is controller. Okay. And the third component is analyzer. I already know all these, Kumar sir. Okay. Analyzer. Okay. Again, I'm using the mouse to write it, so obviously the spellings are, I mean, the writing is really bad, and please bear with me on that. Okay. Why there is something called LRE? Why Micro Focus has came out with this new thing called LRE? Okay. So do you have this question? Okay. And LoadRunner is everywhere. Okay, but why somebody came out with this thing called LoadRunner Enterprise? Do you have that question, guys? All of you, Riaz said yes. What about others? And that is the main reason why you came to the class, right? Okay, why? Okay, now I'll answer one more question before coming to this question, the difference between both of them. But that one more question is, Kumar sir, a lot of people in the market teach LoadRunner, but nobody is teaching LRE. Why? Okay, that is the first question. Because, okay, the reason I'll tell you for that, okay, the reason for that is, okay, the actual load runner enterprise. Okay, this requires lot, I mean, somebody a master to install it, and we need the servers. Okay, we need servers for this, and this is the main reason why most of the institute will not be able to teach the load runner enterprise. Not that it is tough. Okay, not that it is tough. Okay, but but okay, you need this load runner enterprise installation to teach this load runner enterprise. Almost, I'm telling you, right? If there are 10 institutes in the market, almost all the 10 institute have this, all the trainers have this knowledge of load runner enterprise, because it's not a rocket science. It is very, very simple. But why people are not teaching it? Because they don't have the access. They don't have the access. Why they don't have the access? Because you need to purchase the servers, and you have to install the load runner server, the load runner host, the database, everything on that particular thing. Okay, and you have to install it, and you have to set it up so that you will be able to access LRA. It's not like your load runner where you installed on your machine, click next, 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 it got installed, and you're able to work. No, this requires servers. It requires specific skill set to set it up and install, and that's why most of the institutes are not doing it. How Isha is able to do it? Because our focus is only on performance testing. Okay, we could afford that kind of money on the servers, on the tools to do it. Okay, so that is what it is. So Krishna, now the next question is, do we need the license? Actually, LoadRunner Enterprise comes with a 50 user version license, trial version. That's what I have used for me. Okay, so no, you don't need the license if you're going with 50 users. You want to go with more users, yes, you need the license. But to install on your machines, you need servers. You need at least bare minimum 2 servers or 3 servers. I have set it up 2 servers on which I have given 2 servers to the expert. Anup is the guy who has done it for me. Okay, Abhinav. So he's a wonderful expert. Okay, so he did it for me in 2 machines. But in a real-time world, at least you need 3 servers to set it up. Okay, now coming back to why this load runner enterprise. Okay, and when I know load runner, why this load runner enterprise? Okay, now before that, Sanyog has asked a question: is performance center part of LRE? Guys, performance center is the history. No longer they are calling it as a PC or performance center, they are calling it as LRE, load runner enterprise. Okay, but I'll tell you the subtle difference that is there within performance center and LRE shortly. So Sayog, are you okay with it? I have answered your question. Krishna, I'll do that later. Okay. Okay. So I've given a simple Windows Server 2016 two Windows Server. Okay, for my setup, Krishna is asking a question. Again, we are deviating a little bit, but I will quickly answer that. Okay, so I've given two machines. Okay, both of them are 32 GB machines. Okay, and then they have OS of Windows Server 2016. Okay, so these two machines. Okay, and both of them have a static IP, and then you have to have a static IP so that people from across the world can access it. Now, with this URL you also can access this. Okay, with this URL you also can access it. You don't want the whole world to access it. I don't think you need a static IP. You need a static IP. Okay. Krishna, did I answer your question? Okay, thank you guys. So now coming back to this, Kumar sir, how many times you are deviating? You have been telling that you will tell me the difference between LR and LRE. Okay, let me come to it. Whoever has asked the questions, they have to hold on because I'm getting into this topic called LR versus LRE, and later on we will obviously add versus PC as well. Okay, versus PC. So PC is Priyanka Chopra? No, right? PC is what? Not Priyanka Chopra, guys. This is Performance Center. Okay. Again, I have a very bad sense of humor. Okay, you have to put up with that. Okay, so yeah. Wonderful. Before I start explaining the difference, okay, I'll ask a simple question, guys. Okay, whoever is working in a company, let's say you're working for Infosys. Again, Infosys is my favorite company. Always use Infosys. Okay, um, you're working for Infosys. Okay, there is only one project for which you are doing performance testing. I'm just asking you, will there be only one project where Infosys is doing performance testing? No, no, right? Okay, let's say in Infosys, okay, you're doing the project for Westpac. Okay, so in Westpac, in Westpac, again, Westpac is a banking sector, guys. In Westpac, there is only only one application we will do the performance testing. Only one application for which we will be doing the performance testing. Okay, in Infosys you are doing the performance testing for a company called Westbank, which is a which is a bank. Okay, in that whole bank there is only one application where we do the performance testing. No. Okay, there could be online banking, there could be teller applications. Okay, there could be what is that, corporate applications. Okay, so or rate applications, there will be like at least 30, at least 100 applications, for which 100 applications in Westpac itself, in Westpac banking itself. Okay, for which performance testing needs to be done. Okay, needs to be done. Okay, I'm just telling you. Yeah, loans application. Okay, loans application like this, there are n number of applications will be there. Okay, loans application, even in the loans applications. Okay, so there is one vehicle loan, one life insurance, there is like this, there are different applications. Okay, so no, nearly in 230 projects in Westpac, somebody Yogi is working for Westpac, looks like. Okay, so there is so many applications are there. Okay, now now, in this, okay, Mr. Yogi, okay, Yogi is working for banking application. Okay, obviously he wants to run a load test. Okay, and then for this loan application, okay, let's say, okay, and Neetu, okay, is working on, let's say, corporate application or loans application. Okay, loans application. Neetu is the colleague of Yogi. Okay, she is also wants to do the load testing. Okay, she also wants to do the load testing. Again, please mute yourself, guys. It will be difficult for others to hear. Okay, please mute yourself. Okay, thank you. Yeah, let me mute everybody. Okay, wonderful. Okay, now both of them. Okay, now Westpac has purchased. Okay, 1,000 user license. Okay, 1,000 user license. Okay, and they have purchased LoadRunner. Okay, LoadRunner. They have purchased LoadRunner. Now Westpac has purchased, okay, 1,000 user license, okay, for the, and then they haven't purchased LRE, they have purchased LoadRunner. Okay, are we clear, guys, so far? Okay, they have purchased LoadRunner. Now what we'll do, okay, let's say, okay, the manager for Yogi and Neetu, manager is same. Okay, let's say Who is the manager? Okay, whoever is responding to me. Shakir is responding to me. Okay, so Shakir is the manager. Okay, Shakir is the manager. Okay, I'm sure he's a wonderful manager. Okay, now Shakir has purchased this license. Okay, user license, and then okay, he gave it to Yogi. Okay, he gave it to Yogi. He said, okay, we have purchased the 1,000 user license for LoadRunner. Okay, and he said, okay, go ahead, Yogi, you install it. Okay, you install it. Now what Yogi has done? Okay, he has installed. Okay, Vugen. Okay, he's installed three components, obviously. Okay, Vugen, controller on Yogi's machine only, and analyzer. Okay, and analyzer. Okay, so on Yogi's machine, Yogis has installed all these three components and this controller, because it's not a 50 user license. 50 user license is a free license. No, it is purchased. We have purchased, so 1,000 user license. Okay, 1,000 user license. Okay, so far it is clear, guys, for everybody. So far it is clear. If I'm going too fast, please tell me. Okay, I'll definitely come to the point as to what is the difference between LRE and LoadRunner, but clearly I wanted to get there. Okay, point by point. Okay, wonderful. Okay, superb. So now 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 Yogi wants to, he has created all the scripts on the Vugen for the banking application, okay, using the Vugen which is installed on his machine, and then he has run the load test. He has run the load test. With how many users he have to run the load test with? Let's say 400 users. Let's say 500 users. Okay, so with 500 users, he was able to run the test on the controller. Why? Because the user license is 1,000, and since 500 users is less than 1,000, he was peacefully able to run the test, and after the test is done, using the tool called analyzer or analysis, he was able to do the analysis, create the report, and send it. Okay, now after next day, Neetu has created all her scripts, 7 scripts for loan application. Now she wants to run a load test. She wants to run a load test with 500 users. 500 users. Okay, now you tell me. Okay, tell me, where is controller, guys? Where is controller? In whose machine the controller is there? Okay, on whose machine controller is there? Yogi's machine. Now Neetu wants to run the test. So what should Neetu do now? Okay, she has two options. One is uninstall. Okay, uninstall controller from Yogi. Okay, Yogi machine, and install again on Neetu's machine. Okay, so this is option one. Okay, okay, install, okay, again on Neetu's machine. This is option one. Or use Yogi's machine to run the test. Okay, so and there is a third option as well. Okay, so okay, now you tell me, okay, which one you go with, option one or option two? Okay, use the one, or the third option is none. Okay, so please tell me, guys, which option you will go with, one or two or three? Okay, I want to hear from, there are at least 79 people in the class. Remove me from that list, 78. I want at least 10 to 20 people immediately using it. Okay, wonderful, 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 superb. Okay, so there is one guy called Riaz who said use the RDP. Okay, superb, guys, superb, use RDP. Okay, so the third option is use RDP. Remote desktop connection. Don't get overwhelmed when we say RDP. Remote. Okay, okay, desktop connect. RD, RDC, right? Remote desktop connection. Okay, RDC, remote desktop connection. Okay, it's not RDP, remote desktop connection. Okay, so use this. Okay, that's the third option. Okay, so in the real world, they don't use one, because every time you have to run the test, you can't keep uninstalling and installing, because it's a 1,000 user license. It would cost somewhere from 50 lakhs to 60 lakhs, and you can't just play around like that. Okay, that's a huge cost on the company, so you can't just keep playing around like that. Okay, so obviously the second option is, okay, Neetu would request for Yogi's machine and do it, but Yogi will have his own work. Okay, so he cannot keep giving the machine to them. Okay, and use the RDP. Even you use the RDP, so Yogi's work will be disturbed. So the last option is figure out figure out a machine which no one uses, okay, and install controller on that machine, okay. And since it's, if somebody can spend 50 to 60 lakhs on a license, right, they can spend 20 more thousand to give one dedicated machine where nobody is using, where you install the controller on it. And now if Yogi wants, okay, to run the test, just log into this machine, log in to the machine, either physically go to the machine, login, or you can do a remote desktop connection, okay, whichever you are comfortable, okay, and run the test, okay, and run the test. If Neetu wants to run the test, okay. First, obviously transfer all her Vusion scripts to that machine, to this machine, standalone machine, to this, we call it as a standalone machine because nobody is using it, to this standalone machine, and create the scenario and run it, take the results, and then go away, okay. Take the results and go away. Go away means copy the results onto Nitu's machine, and she can do the further analysis. Do you think fourth option is a good option, guys? All of you? Deepti? So Deepti, you're there, Deepti? Okay. Madhuri, wonderful. Okay. Raghu, superb. Okay. Pujita, superb. So Raghu, is that you? So Pujita, wonderful. Okay. So Sanyok. Deepti, are you there? Deepti seems like she left. Okay. So Vinod, Anil Chaudhary, wonderful. Okay. So yes, this is what happens in the real world. You take a standalone machine, install the controller on that. Okay. Install the controller on that, and then whoever wants to run the test. There are hundreds of applications. Okay. There are at least 100 applications on this banking. Okay. There could be 100 performance testers who might be who might want to run the test. So they will be, whoever wants to run the test, they will take this standalone machine, get access to this standalone machine, okay, and then run the test, take the results, and go away. Okay. Is this make sense, guys? All of you? All of you? Okay. So this is what happens. Wonderful, wonderful. Now the next question is, okay, Kumar, wonderful, Kumar. So we have figured out a standalone machine. Whoever wants to do the test, they will be doing the test. Okay. Now Gopi and Raghu. Okay. Gopi and Raghu, both are working for Westpac. They need to run the test at the same time. Okay. Now what? 8:30. Okay. At 8:30 p.m. IST. Okay. 8:30 p.m. IST. They wanted to run the test same time. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Okay. Now Gopi wants to run the test with 400 users. Okay. And Raghu wants to run the test with, okay, 450 users. Okay. Now, how many users license we have? We have the license of 1000 user license. Okay, 1000 user license. So obviously, if they are running it separately, they can easily run it. Okay, but together they wanted to run. Obviously, there is only one standalone machine, and never possible together they will not be able to run. That is not possible at all. Okay, that is not possible at all. So this is the reason why there is a concept called load runner enterprise. Okay, load runner enterprise. Okay, there is a concept called load runner enterprise. Okay, there is a concept called load runner enterprise. Okay, and there is one more problem, with this load runner. The first problem is, if they wanted to run the test simultaneously at the same time, both Gopi and Raghu, even though if you add both of them, it is 850 users, which is less than 1000 users, 1000 users license. So you have the enough user license to run the test simultaneously, even though you have the user license to run the test simultaneously, but still you cannot, because there is only one person can do an RDP, or one person can use the controller machine. Okay, that is the first problem. The second challenge is, okay, if there are only two people, Raghu and if there are only two people, Yogi and Neetu, okay, then they can call each other, coordinate with each other, and say that now I will run the test, tomorrow you run the test, something like that. They can coordinate. But if there are 100 people are there, okay, and they want all our performance testers, all are performance testers, and they wanted to run the test. All these people cannot every time come and coordinate and say that, okay, today for first 1 hour I will use it, second 1 hour you use it, third 1 hour somebody uses it. So this coordination is very, very difficult if you are going with this load runner setup. This is the reason why you have something called load runner enterprise. First challenge is, okay, simultaneous test, it is difficult. Second challenge is, if there are a lot of people, the coordination between each other is difficult, because all of them wants to run, and you're running the test, somebody logs in and stop the test without knowing that, and they will be running their own test. So that coordination is very, very difficult if there are a lot of people are there. So that is the reason why big companies, or when I said big companies, okay, so I can use a different word, organizations. Okay, when you are a big company, obviously you call it as an organization. So if there are big organizations and there are multiple applications, okay, for which obviously performance testing needs to be done, and there are multiple performance testers, okay, testers. Now you tell me, okay, load runner is suitable or LRE is suitable? Option one is load runner, option two is LRE. I want to hear from at least 30 to 40 people, guys. Which one? Option one is load runner, option two is LRE. LRA. Okay, so this is reason why there is something called a load runner enterprise came into picture. Okay, so earlier this load runner enterprise we used to call it as a performance center. Now we are calling as performance LRA, performance center. Now we are calling it as load runner enterprise. Now with load runner enterprise, what you can do is you can schedule your test. Schedule your test. Okay, schedule your test. Okay, now there is a load runner admin. Okay, LRE admin will be there. Okay, now, okay, our Shankar wants to run the test, so he will block the test. Shankar will say that, okay, I want to run a load test with how many users? Okay, 400 users. Okay, and when you want to run the test, okay, date is 26th, okay, July, okay, at 10 a.m. IST. Okay, and I want it till how many hours? 2 hours window. So which means that I want it till 12, okay, p.m. So 12 p.m. AST. Okay, for 2 hours. Okay, now so Sharma has asked the questions. I'll answer that as well. Okay. Now Sharma. Okay. Now he wants to run a stress test. Okay. Now with how many users? With 600 users. Okay. So you have to tell to the admin saying that, okay, this is what it is. And on 26th July. Okay. And you say that I want it from 1 p.m. IST to, okay, 5 p.m. IST. I need it for 4 hours. Okay. Now somebody. Okay. Let's say Shirisha, okay, Shirisha, okay, she wants to run a scalability test, okay, and she wants to run it with, let's say, okay, 450 users, okay, 405 users, okay, and she want it on tomorrow only, 26th July, okay, from, okay, 3 p.m., okay, 3 p.m. to 3 p.m. IST to, okay, 6 p.m. IST. Okay, like this, you can start scheduling, or you can start booking, slot booking. We call it as slot booking. Okay, just like you book the slot for Tirupati and all that, right? So like this, you can book your slot for the test, and exactly this window is totally given to you, irrespective of Shankar wants to use that window or not. But definitely, he will be given that window once the LRE admin, okay, LRE admin confirms on books the slot, which means that this slot is for Shankar. He can upload his scripts, run the test with 600 users, and after 12 o'clock, he cannot use that environment anymore, and he can download the results and go away. Similarly, Sharma can come in, okay, at 1 p.m., upload the scripts, upload her or his scripts, and then run the test with 600 users, and the environment is there till 5 p.m. for her. Okay, she can do whatever she wants till 5 p.m., and after 5 p.m., she can download the results and go away. And you see there is an overlap of Shirisha and Sharma. Okay, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Shirish Sharma is using, and from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Shirisa is using, which means that from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. both Sharma and Shirisa, both of them are using. Okay, but let's say, okay, for this LRE as well, you took only 1,000 user license. Okay, now 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 you tell me your LRE will allow this booking? I'm just asking you, will your LRE will allow this booking? One is yes, two is no. Will LRE allows, brother? Okay, so for the LRE, you have purchased the license, 1,000 user license. Okay, look carefully, look at the number of users. There is an overlap as well from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Will LRE allow this booking, or will Shirisha be able to run it with 405 users? No, because you see, this is 600, this is 405, so 1,005 users are there. Okay, so at 3 p.m. exactly, you might have to use 1,005 users, but the license is only for 1,000 users. So probably one of them, either Sharma or Shirisha, will be given 5 users less. So the test might not start. Okay, I never tested this scenario. Either the test will not start or the test will start. It will start with only 400 users. Will start with 400 users. Are we clear, guys, so far? Are we clear? All of you? Okay. Are we clear so far, everybody? Okay. Now, there are some questions being asked while I'm explaining. While explaining, I don't have access to the chat window, so I have to come out of that. Okay. Somebody said, Roy says that your voice is breaking. Is my voice breaking for all of you or only for Roy? No. Okay. It's fine. Okay, so Roy, I think it is your network. Maybe check your network, guys. Looks like everybody is able to hear. Okay, yes, it will allow, but only one. Okay, wonderful. Now, next question somebody asked is, okay, let me see all the questions. If I missed some questions, please tell me, guys, because if I'm browsing, there is a lot of chat window here. Okay, any questions I have missed, please post it now. Okay, because I'm trying to go up, look at every single chat, but I'm not able to see any questions, or there's a lot of chat. Okay, so any questions that I've missed out? Okay, somebody asked the question, how it is different performance center. In terms of usability, absolutely no difference. Okay, but in terms of what is required behind the scenes, there is a difference. Okay, I'll come to that point. But other than that question, any other question, guys? Madhusudan, that question is there, right? Okay, so we use PC for concurrent executions. LRE is used for the same purpose, Pujita. Okay, so LRE is also used for concurrent executions. Okay, is there a license for parallel executions, like how many concurrent executions you can do? Is there a license for it? I think there is. Okay, but definitely there is a license for how many users you can use max, but how many concurrent tests that you can run, like can you have like 10 concurrent tests run parallelly, 10 concurrent tests run? Okay, I don't know, guys. I have in my company, I think we have used like 4 to 5. Okay, is there a license required? I believe so. Somebody told me. Okay, maybe you can do some research on that. But concurrent users, concurrent executions, definitely, definitely. Okay, it will allow. Okay, the LRE will allow. And earlier we used to call it as performance center. Now they are calling it as LRE. If somebody is asking me if LRE and PC are same, I cannot say it's absolutely same, but they are same in a way. Okay, they are same as a outside users, but behind the scenes. Okay, I'll also cover that question because a lot of people are asking how PC is different from LRE. Okay, but before that, have I covered all the differences of LR versus LRE? Yes, it will allow concurrent executions. It will allow slot booking. Okay, and the most important, very very important difference, anybody can tell me one more difference, very very important difference, and almost in every single interview people will ask. Okay, what is that difference? Okay, Nitu, I'll come to that question, but you tell me, guys, what is the main difference between LRE versus LR? Okay, I've given you few differences. I gave you clear understanding now, but one difference they will definitely expect if you are there in an interview. Okay, okay, LRE is web based. It is a very very silly thing, okay, which you will come to know tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay, so and LR is standalone. Okay, where you have to install on a machine and you can use it on that machine itself. But LR is web based, and anybody anywhere from the world, or people, you might have to be inside the network. Okay, wherever that installed, that host LRE server is installed, you have to be on that network, I believe. Okay, so that you can access it. Okay, I cannot say anywhere from the world, but people usually put the firewalls and all that, but anywhere from the world with your VPN, okay, that you can use it. Okay. Okay, Sinu has asked a question. I'll come to that. Okay, a lot of people are asking the questions, but we might have to deviate a little bit. But for today, okay, I've covered multiple differences, but I'll come to one more thing: how Performance Center is different from LRA. Okay, in terms of front end, obviously they made a lot of changes. So from tomorrow, when I show that front end, you will be able to see how PC and LRA is different. But in terms of the installations, LRE PC needs to be invoked, okay, needs to be invoked, okay, invoked, invoked from ALM, okay, application lifecycle management. Again, somebody has not used all this, it will be overwhelming for them, but let's just listen it. If you have not used the Performance Center, please ignore this next 2 minutes, okay. But people who have used the Performance Center, this topic is only for them. LRE, no need of ALM. Okay, no need of ALM. Everybody understood the difference between the Performance Center and LRE, guys? But otherwise, everything else, and the front end is changed between every version. The front end will be changed a little bit. Okay, but other than that, there is absolutely no difference. Slot booking, concurrent executions, sharing across multiple employees, all that is same when it comes to PC and LRE. Is it clear to everybody so far? The Sino has asked a question. I'll take that question. But is this clear so far, everybody? Any questions on what I've taught? Please ask. Don't hesitate to unmute yourself and ask, guys. Okay. I'll take those questions which are there again later. But whatever has been taught so far, is it clear, everybody? And something needs to be changed. My teaching style. Am I going too slow, too fast, anything like that? So guys, please answer, guys. I'm putting a lot of efforts. Okay, the energy comes from you. Okay, so please, I'm trying my level best to bring the things um, to your to your notice, that too in a very easier way, like as easy as possible. Okay, so perfect pace. So somebody has been asking what is the difference between PC and LRE. I have posted that as well. Okay, now why they have pulled out ALM. Okay, so why there was ALM before, and now they have why they have pulled out the ALM. Okay, this application lifecycle management, what this LoadRunner guys thought is, okay, QTP, they've integrated with ALM and all the failed results will flow into the ALM. Similarly, they thought the same thing for LoadRunner. They integrate with the ALM, they call it as PC, so that all the failed results will go to the ALM, okay, and show the results. For UFT or QTP, it makes sense to have the failed results go to the ALM. Again, if you know all these guys, you will understand, like if you know QTP, UFT and all that. But quickly, like I'll just cover for 1 minute and I'll start, because a lot of people might not know about QTP or UFT and all the products of Micro Focus. But integrating that UFT, which is an automation tool, with the ALM makes sense, because if something got failed, then all the test cases are there in the ALM, so it will go mark it as failed. But performance center, I mean performance testing, it doesn't make any sense, because if the test is failed, the whole test is failed, not a script. Okay, so there is no point taking the results and going back to the ALM. So it's absolutely no, it's absolutely waste of money, resources to integrate with ALM. So earlier, the companies, that Micro Focus company or HP company, has okay forced people to buy, forced companies, okay, to buy ALM if they want to, buy PC. Okay, they didn't had a choice. Okay, so you say, okay, forced companies to buy. Okay, so they have to buy ALM, which is also expensive. Okay, and then on the top of it, you can install the PC, and whenever the result something happens, fails, or the test fails, or whatever it is, all the results will be posted in ALM. So they were, even though it is of no use for performance testing, they have integrated it, or there could be some use which I didn't see. Okay, So then they realized this blunder. Then they said, okay, let me pull out ALM, because whatever I've realized probably 10 years back or whenever this PC was introduced, okay, they have realized little later. And then they said there is no need of ALM, installing ALM and all that. We'll directly, okay, install it without the need of ALM. And they started changing the name as well to LRE Enterprise. LRE Enterprise. Okay. Again, the last 10 minutes I went little fast because those things may not be that useful to you. Okay, but just if somebody knows ALM, somebody knows PC, somebody knows UFT, they will understand it. For that only reason I have covered that. Okay, I have covered that. Okay, so this is it for today, guys. Okay, so tomorrow we'll try to join at 7 p.m. IST. Tomorrow I'll showcasing you. Okay, I'll be showcasing you this LoadRunner Enterprise. Okay, how to upload the scripts, how to run the scripts, and all that. And in the class, both administration I will cover, as well as planning your test. Both. Okay, LR admin role and as well as running the test. As a user, how to upload the scripts, run the test, pull out the results. As an LRE admin, how to assign the users, what all you can do, I'll try to teach you tomorrow. Okay, so we'll go here, we'll start playing around with different options. Okay, what all the options that I've played around, I try to share it with you. For certain options that I haven't played around, and if you think that they are important to learn, okay, and you bring it to my notice, I'll go back, explore that and come back and teach in the class. Okay, so that's what it is, guys. So is this clear, guys, all of you? Chaitra, Roy, Sairam, Surinder, Gauri, okay, everybody, Neetu, Surinder, okay, Shankar, and now please pose the questions which you think that which are little not related, but now we can take that questions. Okay, so Srinivas or Sinu has asked a question. Somebody, okay, please pose that questions, guys. I'll try to answer those questions. Sinu, I believe. Sinu, are you there? Sinu has asked a question. Sinu, are you there? Okay, Sairam said, please provide the document. Please post it in the WhatsApp group, Sairam. My team will share that. Okay. Sinu answered, how invoked from ALM? Neetu, you just click off a button. You install the ALM, on the top of it, you click the PC. First, you log into the ALM. From there, you just say create test and automatically PC will be invoked. Okay, that I'll not be able to share, Neetu, because I don't have that setup with me. I have LRE with me. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions? I've missed out. Sinu has asked a question. Okay, can we get access during the training period to practice? Krishna, it's a very relevant question. Okay, so I might not give you the admin access because you might go, I mean, not when I said you not Krishna, but somebody might go and delete all the users or mess up the whole system. So I might not give you the admin access, but certainly I'll give you the access to, as a user access, so that you can upload the scripts and play around. Okay, but again, only 50 users, so we have to carefully plan. Okay, how to how people can use it parallelly. Okay, you're running the test with only 4 users, 3 users, I'm okay giving the test. Okay, now, yeah, Sinu has asked the question, do we need to use the same host for all the baseline and benchmark test? Okay, so more than host, Sinu, what you have to be careful about is your load generator. Okay, wherever your load, tomorrow I'll cover this architecture, Sinu. So others, you can skip this or you can still stay in the class, but I'll try to explain this to Sinu because it looks like the question that he has posted, which means that he has a good knowledge on this. Okay, so Sinu, if you're looking at my screen, okay, so this is the architecture of your LoadRunner enterprise. Okay, so more than the host that you're talking about, okay, the LGs that you have, use the same LGs. Your application test is here and your LGs are here. Okay, from the LGs are the ones which will give you the virtual users. Okay, and then with the virtual users, these virtual users are the ones which will apply the load on the application and the test. Okay, so if you're using different LGs, okay, let's say this LG is in India, okay, this LG is in India and you have done one test on this, okay, so you have done the test. Sinu, I hope, Sinu, are you looking at the screen?
Yeah,
Sinu,
yeah,
are
I
you
can
looking?
able to see, sir.
See the screen, right? Okay, what you're saying is
Yeah, yeah.
um, baseline and benchmark test. Okay, so now you see, Sinu. Okay, tomorrow again this architecture I'll clearly cover, guys, for other people don't get overwhelmed. So Kumar sir, what is this? So many things are there. Each thing we will go very clearly, but this is only for Sinu or anybody who already have the knowledge of LoadRunner architecture or somebody who can figure it out as I'm speaking. So let's say this LG is in India and you have done your baseline test. Okay, you have done your first test, which is a baseline test. Okay, now the second time around you have one more LG, which is in Australia. Okay, which is in Australia. Okay, now you have run the benchmark or baseline test with this lg2 you have run your baseline test, okay, or benchmarking test. Okay, now you tell me Srinivas, will there be any difference in the response times, Sinu, with your knowledge?
I
Okay,
think yeah, I think it should be. We could see the deviation. I think because different location, right?
different locations. So basically I can say that the latency is different. Latency is the main thing.
Yeah,
Okay, so with India, let's say the application is also in India. Okay, the application is also in India. So here from India to India, the latency will be less. From Australia to India, the latency will be more. So the response times may get impacted, right?
yeah, correct. Yeah, yeah, okay.
LRE host is just your controller.
Because
Okay,
yeah, because we
LRE.
usually we do the auto match of load generator, so that's why I asked.
Yes, this is the reason why. And you might be asking, Kumar sir, realistically tell me, like, why this will be in India, why this is in Australia? Why? Because in the real world, when you set it up, LRE, they will take an on-prem server. LRE host, they will take an on-prem server. But this LGs, right, they will take the servers on the cloud. Okay, I'll also tell you why it is taken on the cloud. So when they have taken it on the cloud, let's say you have taken it from Azure or AWS. Let's say you've taken AWS and one server, let's say it is in India and one thing is in Australia. So obviously this LG is in India and this LG is in Australia. Okay, so there will be a change in latency and then there will be a difference in the response times. This is what, like, logically looking at it, I have explained it, but you can do more digging to see what it is. But if you ask me, yes, you have to absolutely use the same setup to do both the baselining and benchmarking. Okay, unless you have to
Yeah,
create that
okay.
latency or the networking bandwidth. Okay, so you
Yeah, okay.
purposefully want to induce that latency or the bandwidth, you can play around with these different servers of different locations. Okay, or there is something called network virtualization where you will go and select Australia or India and all that. Automatically it will create that latency as well as the bandwidth. Okay, which I will again cover
Yeah,
in the
got it.
class as well. Okay, but are we have I cleared? But others, again, others don't get overwhelmed by looking at this picture. Again, I'll come to all these concepts. It might be too early for you to understand all this, but since Sinu has asked this question, okay, I have answered it, guys. Okay, but other people, if you haven't understood whatever I have answered to Sinu, don't worry about it. I'll cover all that. I'll cover all that. Okay, now so Sinu, did I answer, did my answer made sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, sir. Yeah, now got it.
Okay, got it. Wonderful. The next question somebody asked, what was the question? Peak load versus load testing. Okay, so Anil, are you there in the class? Can I answer this question? Are you still there, Anil? You can unmute and ask now. The class is done.
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Okay, so Krishna, I'll take that question as well, but let me answer Anil. What is the difference between peak load test and the load test? Okay, again, it has nothing to do with LRE, guys. Okay, so peak load test and then load test. Okay, so Anil, did you heard about something called offline jobs or bad jobs in your company?
Yeah,
Okay,
badges we had it right.
we have it, right? For this one, usually we don't use any load test or anything like any tool. I mean, in the sense we do the load testing, but we don't use any tools. Okay, we use Control M or something like that. Okay, and do this test. Okay, so now, okay, the load test is, let's say you're running with 1,000 users. Okay, 1,000 users. Let's say there are 15 scripts. Okay, now either using LRE or LR. Okay, LRE or LR. You have designed this test scenario. Okay, you have designed this test scenario. Okay, and then again I'm using complete load runner language itself when I say test scenario and all that. Okay, if somebody is coming from Jmeter world, they might be little confused. Okay, so you have created the test scenario and you have run the load test. Okay, and you have run the test with 1,000 users, which is your peak load. Okay, then you call this as a load test. Now along with this load test, Okay, you're also running the bad jobs, your offline jobs using the control M and all that, then this is the peak load test. Because typically these bad jobs or the offline jobs also use the same servers behind the scenes where it will use it for this, the online application. Okay, so behind the scenes they might use, most of the times they use the same app server, web server, database server, which means that whatever this online, this is for online application. Okay, so that is for offline jobs. Okay, so this offline jobs and this online application and offline jobs, okay, offline jobs, they will put the load on the same server. Typically, I'm saying, not necessarily. If they're putting the load on the same server, it is absolutely important that you do both of them together. Okay, then you call this as a peak load test. Okay, again, this is what was happening with my projects. So I've explained based on my company and my projects that I have executed earlier. If somebody else wants to add more to it, I'm more than happy and help Anil explain, I mean, understand this better. If somebody wants to unmute themselves and speak, what is their take on peak load test? Okay, anybody else who think that this peak load test and load test is different? I mean, any other definition? So by the way, Anil, did I have you understood this difference between load test and peak load test?
Yeah, like when we are going to run with a normal load users, right? So that will be coming as a load testing. But
Hmm.
if you are going to run the load test with
With
some bad jobs, then
right,
it will be
right.
part of peak load testing.
Right, right. Wonderful, wonderful. If anybody else in their companies they had different definition, definitely go ahead and share it with us. I would like to hear as well. Okay. And if you don't agree with me, please let me know, guys. Please let me know. Okay. We can discuss further on that, and we will so that other people also get the knowledge. Okay. We can make this as a discussion as well. Okay. Will you share the recording, Saurav? I'll have to think about it. Okay. I don't know yet. Okay, because we have a course for this which we are selling, so I cannot keep it out for free. I'll see, sort of, if possible, I'll see what I can do for that. Okay. uh, so Krishna, can we implement the IP spoofing concept here? Certainly, yes. I don't know if I will be able to demonstrate that IP spoofing because it requires a lot of networking stuff and all that, which I don't have the knowledge to set it up. But definitely we can implement the IP spoofing. Just like in the controller, we can implement the IP spoofing. Here also we can implement the IP spoofing. Let me see. Tomorrow I'll come out with where, because again I don't even have the test. I have just have some scripts here. Okay, so I don't have any test runs, or I don't have any test created. All I have is some scripts, bunch of scripts. Once I create a test scenario, then I will tell you where we have to go and then enable that IP spoofing. But setup is required, Krishna. Just like for your controller, you have to set it up, right? With your networking team, in accordance with that, you have to figure out and you have to implement that IP spoofing. It is possible both with LoadRunner Cloud and LRE, but I think separate licensing is required. I have done executed this IP spoofing with LRC, LoadRunner Cloud, and I believe my team has reached out to Micro Focus, that Mateen or somebody was there. So he asked for whitelisted. I think we went with the whitelisting of the things, and he asked for some separate licensing for that. But if it is a LoadRunner Cloud, the LoadRunner people itself will do it for us. For the LoadRunner Enterprise, when they set it up, I think they will set up that IP spoofing. But on the high level, I think IP spoofing is there. In PC, it is there. In LRE, I will have to explore, Krishna, again. Okay, so tomorrow I'll get back to you on that on that IP spoofing. But definitely it has to be there at any cost. Okay, tomorrow I'll come back to you positive on that. Okay, if it will allow 100 IP spoofing or not. Okay, but PC, yes, I have done it. Okay, not set it up, but I've used it. Okay, yeah. And will this affect the response time, IP spoofing? I think it is mainly for the load balancing. Okay, so definitely the load balancing is not happening properly. Then all the load will go to one server, which means that it will have a higher response times. So if you're doing the IP spoofing, then basically the load balancing will happen properly, which means that it effectively the load will be spread across all the servers. So the response times will be accurate. Okay, if you're not doing the IP spoofing, load balancing is not happening properly, then the response times will be higher. So definitely, if you're putting out with the maybe 5 or 10 users, you might not see the difference, but you are running with the peak load, definitely you will see the difference, Krishna. So Krishna, have I answered that question? Can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Okay. So definitely, yeah, load balancing changes means definitely it will affect the response times. Riaz, LoadRunner Cloud and LoadRunner Enterprise is different. Again, when we come to the topic called LRC, which is 5 days from now, I'll talk about the difference between LRE and LRC. Okay. Yes, they are different. They are different. I'll get to that point. Okay. So with that question, I will try to close today's session. Okay. If you like this session, please post it in the group, spread it across to your friends. It's totally free of cost. Okay. And again, I'll try my level best to give you the best possible training. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow at 7 p.m. IST. And any questions, post it in the WhatsApp group.